Okay, this video is from this book right here, The Underground Guide to Study Skills by me, Pete Rogers. It's a book I wrote about study skills. I've written a bunch of books about study skills, but this is the most concise one. It's only 128 pages. They're small, easy to read fast. So this is a good one. You know, even a junior high kid could read this book, junior high or high school. But it's pretty serious study skills. This is what it takes to graduate first in your class in med school. Okay, so this chapter right here is called The Three Phases of Learning. It's a real short chapter. This is the whole chapter, this single page here. And it comes from a quote by Alfred North Whitehead. And he wrote about the three phases of learning. So the first phase, he calls it the romance phase. It's exciting, it's fun. When you first explore a new topic, you're learning very rapidly. It's real enjoyable. You sort of fantasize this learning curve will continue to be that rapid and steep, and all these wonderful good things are going to happen. And that's a good way to be introduced to a subject. But then you're going to hit the long grind. And the long grind is sort of can be tedious. You're learning the nuts and bolts in the field, the definitions, and you'll routinely hit a plateau in this phase. And this is where a lot of people give up. And what I'm saying is, then you though hit a third phase where you start to have generalized expertise and it becomes more fun and you can enjoy it, you can do creative things, you can do interesting things, you've got enough knowledge now to do something useful with the field. So what I'm saying is, to become a great student, and by the way, this whole book is about, how do you become an A+ student at the Harvard, Stanford level, medical school, grad school level. This is serious stuff for people that want to really improve. You have to have a philosophy that motivates you, a philosophy that pulls you up no matter what else happens, like a sense of destiny. And I just say these things because I've had students, usually it's the students who are not very good, they're like, why do you even get into this philosophy stuff? I know smart kids, they just get good grades, they don't do all this stuff. And I'm saying, you're wrong. I know, the best student I know is myself, okay? And I know this philosophical stuff takes me to a higher level. You have to envision things in a way that's going to get you to work intensely for days on end, weeks, months, years, no matter what it takes. And the things that used to get me psyched up was, first of all, I talked about the Alfred Adler inferiority principle. I was so upset. I used to cry when I was alone by myself after getting injured in wrestling and then coming back too soon and getting re-injured. And I sort of vowed to myself, I screwed up my wrestling career, didn't reach my potential. I'm never going to let that happen to me again. I was so upset about it. And so that motivated me. So Alfred Adler principle is the idea that you feel inferior in one area, because all my friends were all Americans, national champions, even world champions, and I'm just coming back from an injury. So that gave me this intensity that I would never let myself wimp out on my academic responsibilities, okay? Then the other thing is the Dobronsky theory of personality disintegration, reintegration, meaning that you have a setback, a disappointment, a failure in something. And you can be sad about it for a little while, but eventually then you have to channel your energy into something else to try to make that come useful. So I was frustrated and sad with my injuries as an athlete, and I channeled that into saying, well, I'm going to become great as a scientist or a doctor. And that was very important for me because I sort of felt bad, like I said, with all my friends, all Americans, national champions, world champions, and I was good, but not like those guys. Okay, so that pissed me off, and I put my energy then into academics. And that is another good thing. The next thing is to have a sense of wanting to do something good and beautiful. And so I saw biochemistry as just this wonderful thing. After you study all this inorganic chemistry, general chemistry, physical chemistry, it's a little bit dry, synthetic organic. Even though intellectually synthetic organic is kind of beautiful, I saw then this chance. Biochemistry is really the chemistry of living things, and especially of humans, was just wonderful. And I've said to myself, this is the language of God that he uses to write the book of life, and I must learn it if I'm going to become a good doctor or a good scientist. And so that sense of the beauty of it made me very motivated to study it. And it's the most difficult subject in medical school. So having that idea really helps. Every rotation I would do clinically, when I rotated in peds, I say, well, maybe I'll be a pediatrician. When I rotated through obstetrics, maybe I'll be an obstetric doctor. Whatever I rotated through, surgery, maybe I'll go into surgery. Maybe I'll go into internal medicine when I'm rotating through that. And I would get myself psyched up. And I would say to myself, I'm going to get the highest grade in the class on whatever. We would take a test at the end of it. And then I would always say, I should have the highest grade in the class. Why not me? And not that that grade really mattered too much, but what I'm trying to say is by always pushing yourself, you'll end up doing the best you could do. And it also makes it a lot more fun. If you say to yourself while you're rotating through surgery that maybe I'll be a surgeon, then you're interested in every little detail and you just absorb a lot. Your brain remembers what you tell it is important. So if you tell your brain, your subconscious mind, well, maybe I'm going to be a surgeon, then you're going to pay a lot of attention to every little detail in surgery and you're going to learn a tremendous amount. If on the other hand you just go through the motions, well, I have to endure this, what cannot be cured must be endured, it's a pain in the butt. If you go through it like that, you'll learn just enough to get by, and you won't soak it all up. Because I've known a lot of people who were good students for different reasons, and you have to find your own reason. Maybe it is just financial. I've known people who said the only reason they wanted to be a doctor was to make money, and they had a high IQ, and they could do enough to get by in school, but you can never be great if that's your motivation. I mean, it's more fun in life to be great than it is to be mediocre. So if you want to be great, you have to have all these things that push you up and up, because you're going to encounter setbacks. And when you encounter those setbacks, you have to be able to bounce back out of them. If your motivation is weak and you hit a setback, a disappointment, a failure, it's harder to bounce out of it. So, like I said, spend some long time thinking, why do I want to major in this? Why do I want to take this class? What are my expectations? What are my goals? What are the study strategies that will be most effective in this situation? Is there anyone I can talk to who's taken this class last year, the year before that can give me guidance? So you have this whole philosophic plan. Do I have time off? Christmas break, Easter break, summer break, where I can do some advanced reading to get more familiar with the subject. Anyways, what I'm saying is all these psychological things will push you through that long grind faster, so you'll achieve mastery faster, you'll be happier with it. And having a strong psychological sense, I'm going to be the next great scientist, I'm going to be the next great doctor, I'm going to be the next great, at whatever it is, it just gives you confidence and you learn better. Like I said, for example, when I did my residency, only the senior attending physicians and the senior residents would sit in the front row. And right on my first day as a first-year resident, the lowest man on the totem pole, I sat right in the front row. I didn't care. No one in the whole group took notes. I took notes because I'm here to learn. And I sort of had a pissed-off attitude that I should have been at Harvard. Instead, I went to Northwestern. I felt Northwestern was kind of Mickey Mouse for me. But what I'm trying to say is that attitude, I know it was really helped a lot. I crushed everything academically as a resident, was right in the front row. Do whatever is the best you can do, and then you'll psychologically be happier and you'll push through the grind faster, and it won't even be as bad of a grind than if you view everything as a burden. It'll be harder to get through it. Whereas if you view it as an opportunity to get the knowledge and training you need before you become great, then you'll sort of crush it and you'll run through it. It'll make it more fun, and you'll do better, so why not do that?